Welcome everybody, thanks for listening. Just wanted to provide a bit of a quarterly update, just to let you know what's been happening for the last 3 months, not just with us but in farming in general. Locally we've had some pretty good rains, but there is areas there of South Australia and southwest Victoria that has been bone dry, and that really sort of means that some farmers are cheering, some farmers are scratching their heads wondering if they'll ever get a break, which sounds pretty normal to me. I've done a couple of trips down from Griffith to Albury recently. Crops hit and miss. Some of the crops that have obviously been sown early, hopefully with a disc seeder, looking pretty good. Some canola looking pretty well established. Other crops are looking really low and fairly slow to get going. Good news is most of the winter crops have been in and finished now. I've just finished talking to a customer up at Toowoomba who was just finishing off sowing some oats, which I thought was fairly late. But at the end of the day, it is a bit of a waiting game now, waiting just to see what comes of the weather, and really leads to some really strategic thinking when it comes to chemical usage, fertiliser application, when and what. So it's the agros and the farmers. It's in your hands. That's the stuff you can control. And probably doing a rain dance probably wouldn't hurt this time either. Locally, some cotton has yielded pretty well. And even though it was a fairly stop and start harvest, overall I think the quality and the quantity has been pretty good. So guys are pretty happy there. Those lucky enough to be able to double crop behind their cotton using usually a disc seeder, usually a Seraphinol linkage bar. They're looking really good. As you probably would have heard in one of our previous podcasts, Mark Sonata sort of talked about local agro from Terra Ag. He spoke about the usage of not only moisture, residual moisture from the previous cotton crop, but more so just some of the residual nutrients, and particularly some of the nitrogen that's left over, which really works quite well, and that there has really resulted in a bit of a boost in our local sales by adding the Aldi Force, our row crop configuration for the bar. That's been really good, and feedback has been fantastic. We're pretty excited to announce that we're bringing out a 12-metre linkage bar fairly soon, that's going to work for row crop, specifically for those cotton farmers out there. So keep your eyes peeled. You will see some new products coming out soon. Question that I've had from everywhere is the Seraphim Cherry podcast. We're listening to it, but what's a podcast got to do with Seraphins? Well, it's pretty simple. At the end of the day, we're all in the ag game together. We want to be able to promote agriculture across Australia, not just our products, but we want to promote farming, agriculture to the wider audience, whether you're directly or indirectly involved in ag, because it doesn't matter if you're in a regional area. It doesn't matter whether you're a school teacher, hairdresser, a person working at the checkout at the supermarket, if they even exist anymore. You're all affected by agriculture in some way, form or the other, whether you know it or not. We wanted to be able to promote it. We also wanted to share some things like our mate John Harper with his Mate Helping Mate podcast, and talking about mental health and how it can really affect rural communities. Loved listening to his story, and how he's gone through depression himself, and how he provided some really good sound advice for overcoming it. We've got an upcoming episode which I'm really excited about. A truly inspirational farming family that has been dealt an unthinkable blow, and they have overcome and adapted, just like John Harper talked about. Their resilience is phenomenal. Their positive outlook, for the future is amazing. This episode really got to me, and I'm sure it'll touch everybody else. So that's definitely one not to miss. We've also spoken to many different types of manufacturers, completely different ends of the scale as well, both sharing some similar stories though. by listening to their customer, designing and building world-class products, and continually looking to improve. And these are things that we at Seraph Machinery really believe in as well. And it's an interesting way that they share a similar story about being important to the community and also providing a service to the ag industry as well. So in a way, their workers in the manufacturing facility is also a part of the ag game. Also, to keep fresh and keep things changing up with the podcast, we've reached out to other guests like Mark Zanetta, recent guest that we've had on from Terra Ag. We've also got an upcoming episode where we've spoken to the president of the Victorian No-Till Association, Mr. Dan Fox, who provided some wonderful insights and using their wealth of knowledge and experience in different farming practices and to discuss all of that sort of stuff. So all the things we want to promote, discuss and learn about. It's a great way to have a bit of a yarn and a few laughs along the way, hopefully. So that's what this podcast is about. Hopefully that answers your question. We're always looking for feedback, always looking for whether it's questions, whether it's a story, anything like that. We're here to listen. So if you've got any of those, make sure you send them through to our email info@seraphin.com.au. Also on the podcast front, we've actually started sponsoring another great Australian farming podcast, which is called the Glass Cage Podcast. This is done by two young legends of WA farming, JH and George. And once you've listened to all of our podcasts, make sure you go and check them out. You'll have some great laughs. They share some really good information, and they're just genuine Aussie farmers having a crack. So worth having a listen to. That's the Glass Cage Podcast. Last month, Seraphin machinery owner Darryl Seraphin travelled over to Europe as part of a Fed factory tour and as a well-earned holiday. So while he was over that part of the world, he managed to find a couple of days to travel down to the Farmet factory in the Czech Republic and catch up with the team at Farmet. So while he was there, when Darryl got back, I should say, he couldn't stop raving about how good the factory was, how clean, precise, well run it was, very automated. He managed to do a full factory tour and got to see the machines being designed, manufactured and assembled really from start to finish. And as an added bonus, next to the factory, Farmet has a fully operational farm with a dedicated demonstration and testing area. So Darryl was lucky enough to get to see the next generation of machines coming through and actual working in a real working environment. So that was pretty cool. Farmet, they're really moving forward with some great things coming. They've just got a new, and it's an interesting product. It's a front-mounted linkage air seeder, which is not anything new to the industry, but the design and even the styling of this machine is really cool. It's a little 2,500 litre front mount bin, seed and fertiliser, but it's got some pretty cool tech built into it as well. So not only is it linkage, but it's also got its own hydraulic folding mechanism, so it can fold down to make it easier to fill. It's also got a wraparound sort of configuration so that it's also a lot closer to the actual lifting linkage, so it's not as heavy on the linkage as a standard traditional style front linkage bin that we're used to. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool to have a bit of a look at that, and hopefully we'll get one of those soon. I think we're talking about probably having one by the end of the year, so keep an eye out for that. Speaking of Farmet new products, we've just had the delivery of our very first Triton Heavy, which is a new model from Farmet, and it's the combination disc and tine coulter like the Triton we're used to, but the 660 model, it's a monster. It's got extra large discs, which can get worked down to a depth of just over 8 inches. Which is pretty impressive, but it's also the heavy shanks that it comes with, the hydraulic adjustable heavy shanks. They can go down to 400 mil. So nothing else on the market that we're aware of that in that combination disc machine, including the Horse Tiger, is unable to get to that depth. So anybody that's looking to get down to a little bit deeper, work into some heavier ground, the Triton Heavy is an awesome model. We got the 660 model, which is a 6.6 metre machine and weighs in at a whopping 11.8 tonne. For a 6 metre machine, that's pretty heavy. If you're only after something really to compete with that sort of horse tiger style machine and get down to a traditional sort of 300mm depth with that combination disc cultivator, the normal Triton is just is a great model too. We've got a 4.5 metre of those. We've got a 6 metre coming. We've sold the 4.5 and 6 metres in the last couple of years. They've been great for replacing cultivators, plows if you want to try to do everything in one pass. Also fantastic for incorporating lime at depth. That's been a fairly familiar use, particularly around the Wagga area. A lot of agros are promoting the benefits of incorporating lime down to that sort of 250mm deep. And this type of machine, that Triton or the Triton Heavy, does that really, really well. Leaves a fantastic finish too. So yeah, give us a call. Have a look on our website as well. We've got some information on those products there, so you can have a bit of a look. A new product that we've got coming out. We've been talking about it for a while, but we can't wait for it to actually get here. It's our new 12 metre forward fold. So this is sort of following on for the success we've had with the 18 and the 24 metre. The forward fold is not only a big, strong, robust frame, but it also gives us a good narrow transfer width. But an added benefit, the design allows us to be able to lift the units up nice and high, so we can get access like we would with their high lift frame for easy servicing and adjustment. So yeah, keep an eye out for the 12 metre forward fold. We'll have the official launch of that at AgQuip this year. At Gunnedah. So if you are looking at coming to AgQuip and you're going to be poking about, make sure you come down and have a look. Also keep an eye on our socials, because you'll see plenty of info and videos, photos and that sort of thing as the 12 metre comes to light. So yeah, pretty excited. We should see that hopefully in about 2 to 3 weeks. The very first model. Speaking of field days, Dennis, our super salesman, he's just come back from Farm Fest in Queensland. That was a couple of weeks ago, and everything he took up stayed there, which is a really good sign. As a sales manager, that's what I want my sales guys to do. So lots of interest in our Eco Series offsets. That's what we took up there, and Dennis couldn't believe how many existing customers called in to say good day, which is a testament to the Eco offset and how it really does exceed their expectation. The customers just can't talk highly enough of the value for money and just how good of a job that little offset does. It's a pity we didn't have any of our Eco Speed discs to take up. They literally, the container turned up the day Dennis left, and we didn't have time to get any built and set up there, because I'm sure they would have sold like hotcakes too. With the Ecos, and in case you haven't heard, we have released a range of small 3-point linkage Eco Speed discs, and they just continue on with our theme for excellent value for money. They're a simple, robust machine. We've also got, and we haven't done any sort of announcements or talking about this too much, but I'll drop it here now. We've got a folding 6 metre trailing machine, an Eco Speed disc, that retails for about 50,000 plus GST, which really there isn't any other 6 metre speed discs on the market that is going to be as good as this, that comes with the features as well for that price. So really, if you want to know more, give Dennis and myself a call. If you are about in Griffith, come and have a look. We've got a couple here on display. We will be making a bit of noise going forward about these, but we've sort of held back. We've also got tattoo speed discs that are coming, and they're going to be in a similar size, completely different size, price bracket, but they're also a really heavy, good, strong built machine that's going to take on K-line. So yeah, pretty excited about what we've got coming forward in regards to offering a larger and more complete range of our speed disc products. Back to talking about field days, you'll catch us at the Mallee Machinery Field Days on the 31st of July and the 1st of August. That's down at Speed in Victoria. We will be on site with Traction Ag, our local dealer for that Western District and Mallee region, the guys from Horsham, Nill and Narracourt. We'll have a couple of different models on display, probably more so focused on the Oldie So product, because it's very strong down in that area for us. But it'll be a great chance to call in and say g'day if you're down at the Mallee Machinery Field Days. Then coming up after that, it's the big one, AgQuip. Gunnedah, it's always held over 3 days. This year it's from the 20th to the 22nd of August. And this is one of the largest field day events in Australia. So yeah, we'll be launching the new 12-metre forward fold, as I said, but we'll also have plenty of other machines on display. This is certainly a huge event, worth getting to if you haven't already before. I think we'll also have Gayson on site as well, so we'll have one of the representatives from Gayson on site to answer any questions in regards to that product. We are a very proud Gayson dealer, probably one of their largest dealers. I love to spruik that fact because, yeah, it's a good Australian product. We love getting behind Australian made products where we can. And, yeah, so definitely come down and catch us at AgQuip. I'm pretty sure it'll be the same sites as our last 12 years that we've been there. Yep, so yeah, get us to come down and see there. I'm pretty excited too. We've just announced, or we're just about to announce, that we're going to be back attending with Vic No-Till, their annual conference. It's going to be held at Wagga this year, 3rd to 5th of September. Might sound strange that the Vic No-Till's holding their conference in New South Wales, but it is just a testament to those guys showing that association is going from strength to strength. Members from all over Australia are really interested in what the Vic No-Till has to offer. They've got some great board members. They've got some really good people doing some fantastic talks this year. So I'm pretty excited. The theme is aptly named Food for Thought, and it really is about getting behind a better thinking way of farming and a longer term way of farming that does promote, soil health. They're very big on soil health, but they're also farmers themselves. They know that they've got to be profitable, because without a profitable farm, you're not going to have that to pass on from generation to generation. So when we get a chance, have a listen to our podcast where we talk to Dan Fox. He explains it really well, just the core values of Vic No-Till. But also, yeah, if you are in that Wagga area, particularly if you can get to that event, that conference is a fantastic. It goes for 3 days. There is the main conference part. They've got a really good crop tour where they spend 1 day in the bus, get to go around and have a look at some good growers in that Wagga area, and also another presentation on the 3rd day from a very well respected person in the regenerative ag industry. Want to know more about that? Jump onto vicnotil.com.au and yeah, have a bit of a look. Following on from that, we will be attending the Elmore Field Days as well. We'll be there with our local dealer, Tim Hand from Hand, Hay and Mechanical. It's always a great event. This year will be held on the 1st to 3rd of October in Elmore, in Victoria. And we'll have a range of products there as per previous years. We'll probably have a semi-auto, oldie, so it's a bit early to know exactly what we're going to take. But we do have a pretty good range of products that sell down in that area. Tim does a fantastic job of selling and servicing the product as well. So make sure you get down and catch up there. Just from a salesy point, everybody loves a deal. At the moment, we've got some really good prices and some specials on our ball and disc plows. I've worked pretty hard to achieve some really good pricing with Baldwin, and I'm pretty happy to say we can actually pass a lot of those savings on to you guys. Models ranging from 5.9 to 12 metres, so we've got something that's going to suit a lot of people. And Baldwin, if anybody knows the Baldwin product, they are known for being really good, strong, robust machines. They all feature oil bath bearings, which are virtually or almost maintenance free. And they're super long life. You look after them, you check the oil once a year, make sure they're not leaking, and they are fantastic. They've also come with cast iron spool spacers, which a lot of people don't realise the size of the spacer in diameter really allows you to get a little bit more life out of your discs, as well as extra weight for better penetration. So if you want to know more about our Baldwin products and what deals we've got coming up, check our website for more information. We can't forget our also early order program. Build spots are filling fast. We've sold a few machines lately, big machines that really chews into our build spots. Because bigger machines take longer to build naturally. So make sure you get in quick. We also want to try to make sure we sort of beat any price rises that potentially will come. There is a bit of a whisper that with some steel prices increasing lately, that there may be a price rise by the end of the year. So all our Aldiso products, ranging from our 5 metre narrow fold all the way to the 24 metre forward fold model, we are doing some pretty good deals on at the moment to try to secure build spots and make sure we can lock those prices in. So get in early and so give us a call. Give me, Rodney at Seraph Machinery a call. I'll go through what we've got, what we can offer, and how we can make an Aldiso to suit you. Thanks for your continued support. Look forward to bringing you more industry news, updates and info through our podcast. As always, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And we've got some really, really good episodes coming up. Also, just a bit of a shout out. This is from a personal point. My nephew, from my sister's son, he's a young farmer, up and coming young farmer down in southwest Victoria. He loves the podcast. He listens all the time. So, mate, if you are listening, I'm not going to say your name so I don't embarrass you too much in front of your mates. But if you are listening, mate, really proud of you. Keep up the good work. And, hopefully I'll even get you on the podcast one day so we can hear all about your adventures down there. Hopefully you don't get bogged too often, if you know what I mean. And, we'll look forward to doing that. So if anybody's got any feedback, any questions you'd like answered or anything like that about the podcast, or their products, their farming in general, make sure you send them through to info@seraphin.com.au. And cheers everyone, and hope you stay safe.